Good evening, folks, guys and gals. Welcome back. I am Vilisink. This is Raid Shadow Legends, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about some builds I've done that kind of are based around resistance. Resistance to help that champion in what they do to enable the skills they have, the passives they have, or just to, enable the team they're in to continue and so forth. So it's a cool one. I get to show you some builds. I get to show you some champions that I put resistance on. And it could be quite cool. You might learn something. You might have similar builds. Uh, if not, as always, stick a comment how you build certain champions and so forth. It's always good to get that information from other players on their champions, on their builds, and how they're used. It's great for the community to get this information also, because we could be helping someone build a champion for progression through comments and things like this. So as always, feel free to litter the comments with whatever you want to say. So resistance builds. Resistance, quite a cool kind of thing. It's not something I focused on really early game. I would say mid game. After mid game, uh, I kind of started taking more of an interest in it. Uh, Accuracy, I took an interest in, obviously earlier, because of Kale, because of your poisoners, because of your debuffers and so forth. But resistance was a little bit later for myself, so let's jump on in. I have a list. It's in no particular order, but I will try and go from Legos down, so we're not looking around for random people. So let's look at who's the first champion that will appear. It is obviously Duchess. Duchess, a champion who's good in arena, a champion who's good in dungeons, Doom Tower, fantastic in clan boss, good everywhere. Now resistance, for some people it's optional on Duchess. Some people build her with very high HP, some people build her really quick and swift parry. For myself, I went resistance. It was I think one of the first few builds I took a very serious approach to, um, with this kind of broken piece kind of set we have kind of going on here, and it was extremely cool. I chose the resistance just because I do use her for arena. Uh, the resistance was also good for faction wars. It's also good against certain Doom Tower bosses. It's good if I want to do any type of runs, but mainly arena for defense, so I can stall people out, potentially get that win. Now, I did actually consider the high HP option along with this, but I just really couldn't get it to work. 543 resistance is not that high, but the resistance enabling her to not miss a turn, enabling this resisted green letters to come up on Duchess is a very cool thing, because she will still be able to place the shield equal to 10% of her HP for 2 turns on an ally with the lowest HP. She will be able, if she is not crowd controlled and she can resist stuff, she can place block buffs and increase attack on everybody, and a perfect veil buff on everybody, meaning you can only attack her. So the resistance there kind of comes in even more important, more clutch, because she can revive all dead allies with 70% HP, places a veil buff on all allies except herself, places a continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. So in my opinion, a champion that really kind of needs resistance for her to be as good as she is, to be that top tier godlike champion that she is. We need her not to be CC'd. We need her to have that freedom and that resistance to do her job continually. Hide people behind the veil to revive them, to put up that shield when it's required. Just an all-round fantastic, amazing champion. The next one is written down, I believe. It's this champion here. Now, you'll see he has resistance, but he has accuracy. Now, this is a kind of a hybrid build. This build is for some dungeons, but also for some Doom Tower. And it was also for a good thing for faction wars. He's also really good in dungeons. I do enjoy taking him into random teams, running through, and it's just to ensure that he can resist debuffs that come in. And obviously he has accuracy for the HP burn and so forth. Let's take a quick look at what we're looking at here. So HP burn for 2 turns. You get a heal if the target is under a HP burn. So that's cool. Provoke, decrease attack if the provoke is placed. So that's quite cool. If I can land provoke and decrease attack, that's cool. They can do whatever they want to me. He's going to resist everything, and people are going to slowly burn themselves to death. Pretty good passive on the attacker, putting HP burn, increased accuracy. So not necessarily a champion that you would expect high resistance on. Maybe you would expect higher accuracy, but for me, I just kind of wanted to throw this champion in. I have quite a lot of fun with this resistance build, this accuracy build. It's a hybrid. He can resist a hell of a lot. He can debuff people a hell of a lot. He gets that bit of healing from his kit and from the immortal set. I will show you the full stats. We'll just, in case you're curious, in case you want to know, like this is kind of like my ninja build, but better resistance, better accuracy. Same idea, just basically, I want to debuff, but I want to resist. So this is like a hybrid build, but it's also a very fun build. He has had this build for quite some time though, so you never know. I may look into a rebuilding of that champion. Hakon Smashlord. He's kind of similar. He's one of the 2 champions on the list that are kind of hybrid builds. Now, he has an A1 that places a stun. I don't really use him for it. If the stun lands, fair enough. If it doesn't, I don't care. Don't care. There's other people that can take control. What I do like is him not to be CC'd, him not to be stunned, him not to get decreased speed, him not to be debuffed. So he can cleanse everybody else. He'll then place block debuffs and give a heal to all of my allies. Depending on the debuffs removed, the heal gets even bigger. He has his attack here, which is sacrifices some HP. Even if it kills him, it'll happen. It's always a normal hit, and it's not the best. I like HP in all dungeons, 33%. Pretty cool aura. I don't think he has masteries at this moment in time, which is fine. But I don't really utilise the stun, but I want to utilise the support aspect of his kit. Him resisting the stun, him resisting whatever debuffs are coming, fear, so he can cleanse where needed to. It's extremely vital, and the heal that you get from Hakon Smashlord, he will be when I get a team of Skinwalkers I'm happy with, and when I want to push that faction, he's going to be there potentially with this build. Maybe I'll lower the defense a little bit, I'll heighten the HP, I may even heighten the resistance, just to meet the threshold for faction wars. But I'll take him through Doom Tower. I've had fun with him in dungeons. I have fun with a lot of people in dungeons. Doom Tower is a very good place to kind of test your builds out if you're ever looking to see what you can actually achieve. So Hakon Smashlord, he's kind of a hybrid build. He has more resistance because I don't really use the stun. If it lands, it's all good. But I much prefer him resisting debuffs, kind of like Drexstar, so he can kind of continue doing what he does uninterrupted. Now, if we're moving on, we have another beautiful lady here, Ursala the Mourner, who recently was in Relentless, I think, or she was in Speed Set, and the Speed Set wasn't fantastic. Since then, she has, I believe, been booked. So, 40% chance, 55 when you book it, of decreasing the target's turn by 10%. I'm now position 88 and 26. Fantastic news. She has an AoE decrease attack. Also places an increased attack on all of the allies, which is quite cool. So it's good, but it's not necessarily what she has the resistance for. She has the resistance and the reflex set, which is a very cool set that people should use more because it's truly, truly fascinating. If you get that proc several times, it's cool. I want her to be able to revive 75% HP, one of the best HP fills in the entire game. Fills her terminators by 50%. Then he gets increased defense and strengthen buff for 3 turns. That's why I want her to have resistance. She has speed in her aura, but that's why I gave her a resistance build. I'm going to show you guys kind of how it looks. Tell me what you think about Ursala's reflex build, because reflex for me personally is quite cool. I'm kind of keeping pieces now that are kind of cool. Trying to piece together sets because there's a few champions that really, really would benefit reflex. It would be very, very, very cool. Depending on your relentless, you may just prefer that set instead. But this is 330 resistance, 200 speed, okay HP, okay defense. But she needs to revive. I'm not necessarily bothered about the decreased attack or the reduction in turn meter. I just need her to stay alive, resist stuff, be my reviver, give people strengthen, and increase defense. And the build is extremely cool. Things still have to be maxed out, so that's going to get way better as far as numbers are concerned. But she's a very cool champion, and I do enjoy having resistance on her. Now, as we move down, we've been to that one, we've been to that one, been to that one, been to that one. Okay, who is next on the list? We'll scroll down until we see one of them on the list. Is it this one here? We have one Lightsworn on the list. Now he has 467 resistance. Why, you ask? Because for Doom Tower, for faction wars, is it for dungeons, is it for clan boss? Honestly, it was just a build I thought would be really, really cool. And the Frost set, it really pisses people off. It really, really does. So when it comes to the decreasing of the turn meter, with this particular build, I'm not necessarily cared. Decrease attack, decrease speed, honestly, I'm not cared. All I want is Indomitable. I want him to resist fucking everything. So he can continually, on a 4-turn cooldown, increase defense, revive on death buff for 2 turns when I'm using him. Does he have masteries? Not that he needs them with the build he has. He could have more HP, but that'll come with the leveling of different pieces. He's had this build for 6 months or so, and it is quite cool. When you use him, like they'll take him through like Doom Tower for instance, and you see people hit him, bang, they're frozen. It's like they don't expect it. It's so cool. I know it's computer AI, but still, it's very, very cool. Yeah, and I want to make sure that he does not get debuffed, so the revive on death, increased defense, the support part of his kit is still being used. You know, so 467, 174 speed, so slower, but okay defense, okay speed, and he's a hell of a lot of fun. Some people might not like that build or go with it, but because I have 2 Lightsworns, I'm going to have fun. I've got one with full crit rate, a bit of accuracy, no masters I think, and I've got one with resistance and a frost set. It's just fun, it just is. So next up, Broadmoor. Recently, a 6-star Broadmoor. It was clan versus clan. I did this with the intention of going into Lissaman faction wars. Now with this build, obviously you've seen Razin, you've seen Smashlord Vargal, you've seen Scathix I believe as well, who's an okay build. And I can't remember the other one, but Broadmoor was there and he was rebuilt. And the regen set, I just was like, it kind of has to be. He's over 200 speed, okay HP. The resistance is at a point where it worked out very, very well, and that's why I chose it again. I'm not going for his A1, which is a freeze. If it lands, fair enough, cool. The increased crit rate, increased speed. I mean, the increased speed is cool. Increased crit rate, not necessarily bothered. But I want him to heal every turn, and I want him to resist debuffs like poisons, decreased defense, weaken, fear, true fear, petrification, all that crap, freeze, to make sure he can revive when I want to revive, because he then places block damage on the revived allies for a turn. Meaning if you have a healer in the team, a buffer, whatever, like turn meter specialist, they can go after that, and the people revived, because it's only 25% HP, the block damage buff comes in clutch. It's really, really cool. And this is a champion that you can fuse in the game as much times as you want. No masteries. Look at all these awesome builds with no masteries. So let's take a look, because when I went into the Lizardmen faction, 16, 17, 18, all auto. On stage 18, all I did was click on Blind Seer on wave 3, stage 18. Never touched it, just tapped on her, full auto, and Broadmoor did not die. He healed, he revived when it was required. He was resisting debuffs, which I'm super happy about. And it worked. 353 resistance, okay defense, okay HP, okay speed. It was just one of those builds that absolutely worked out for the best. Rector Drath is also on the list. She's kind of like a bit of a Duchess style build. She's got good speed, got good HP, good defense, and okay resistance. I could have went more over the top with it, but she's had this build for a while, and it works. And she's a fantastic champion. And why did I give her resistance? So decrease attack on the A1, it can be cool, but not necessarily required. I'm pretty sure I built her specifically for, well, she was level 50 Night Revs Faction Wars. So this potentially could have been just after, I think after Night's Rev I changed her and I did rebuild her. Which is Necron Mutation, heals everybody by 20% of her HP. It's a perfect veil. If it's less than 100% HP, you get a continuous heal. So again, I wanted to resist, not be CC'd, because she's a very good support champion, a very good reviver, just a top tier epic champion in this game. She has a revive. I wanted to be able to revive when necessary. 60% HP, fills turn meter by 60%, perfect veil for 3 turns. Are you kidding me? For 3 turns, if they cannot remove the perfect veil from whoever you put it on, they ain't getting hit for 3 turns unless it's AoE damage. And they will take reduced damage because of that. She has a 55% resist aura and Doom Tower, which is cool. She was level 50, she helped me get past the faction, Night's Rev faction. I took her countless times in dungeons, countless times in Doom Tower. Doom Tower is actually really great. I said it before, I'll say it again. If you ever do a build, go into Doom Tower, mess around with it. It's super, super cool. But because of her kit, supporting, reviving, putting up buffs and stuff, I don't need her to be CC'd, I don't need her to be stunned or frozen, anything like that. I need her to survive the CCing of other champions, or the enemies that want to CC her. I want her to resist it, which she does quite well with this build. Again, this build has been, I'm guessing it's been a few months now. I could potentially add a bit of resistance to be fair, but she's 260 speed, which is pretty fast, so she can work back her cooldowns quite good. She's quite good at doing that. We'll just do like a shout out. Doom Priest, she has 401 resistance to make sure, again, she basically, it's all because of the passive. You would see her in Doom Clan Boss a long time ago, removing the stuns because she's got this. She would take them to any dungeons, any bit of content because of her passive. Removes one random debuff from the allies at the start of his turn and he gets a heal. She got resistance because her kit is apart from the increased attack on the A2, it's okay. She got the resistance purely in the HP and the speed, so she can resist the CC. She will not get stopped. If she gets stunned, whatever, it just kind of slows things down. I want her to be able to do her job, enjoy her job. It's a quick call out, although some people might say like her passive cleanses stuff at each turn, so why would you? And it's a very valid question. It's just my preferred build for Doom Priest. She doesn't need accuracy, so she doesn't have it. Good speed, good HP, okay defense. Shout out to Doom Priest, who is an OG. Now we have one rare we're going to do a quick hello to. He is Apothecary, a great early game champion. I remember pulling Apothecary. He was my arbiter for some time in arena and dungeons. Everywhere I took Apothecary, everywhere. And this was back when 170 speed was tricky to get. Now how the game has changed, I gave him resistance also. Look at this, attack rate is at random. So damage is, I mean, you can hit, but it's nothing special. Multi hit is good for fire rate, to be fair. He also target ally by 35%. I used to have him with 100% crit rate. And yes, I can clarify, the heals can be critical. He places increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, fills the turn meter of all allies by 15%. So it's kind of like a little version of Lyssandra's move. And his aura is, he increases defense in dungeons by 21%. So because he's a support champion, a turn meter champion, a buffer, I don't need him being CC'd. So when rebuilding this champion, because Apothecary's had quite a few builds. Speed, he's had HP, he's had the crit rate, he's had this, he's had that, he's got the high defense for clan boss, which you can find on the channel if you go way back to the older clan boss videos. I rebuilt him with the hope that he would just resist debuffs, and he does. It's extremely cool. I can even put in somebody with a resist aura to boost up where his resistance is at the moment, but I need him to be giving me turn meter. I want that increased speed. I want the heal if I need it. I do not need him to be slowing down, CC'd, not affected in any way. And that pretty much finishes the list of champions I have written down for this video. So, interesting topic. I thought it was quite cool to discuss some of my builds that I've put resistance on. I think it's quite interesting to give out this information to people and so forth. As always, compare builds. Tell me how you build some of the champions that I've mentioned in today's video. As far as the builds go, they're probably going to stay on a few of these champions for a while. They do work, they're fun. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this, of the builds, what you think of the champions. Do you think I can change anything? No, suggestions are always welcome, comments are always welcome. So guys, as always, I've been Vilisink. Thank you so much for joining me. Stay safe, keep on raiding, and I'll see you soon.